Please start by telling us who you are and where you're from.
Yeah, my name's Andy Smith. I'm from Rochester, now representative-elect of 25B.
And why did you decide to run for the House?
So I started a business in 2019 in Rochester, and my business specifically is a movie theater. And so it's a very forward-facing, customer-facing industry. So you get to know the community, you get to know their successes, but also where there's pain, where there's struggle, where there's difficulty. And so the further my roots went in the community, the more I wanted to do more for the community. And so when this opportunity came up, it seemed a really natural transition, because we really try to focus on community experience of the arts. Our art form is obviously cinema, but we have Q&As with local nonprofits, with local political leaders, and so that really kind of gave me a very unique perspective, I think, in a lot of different ways that our society can do better. And so I thought I could do my part for that here in St. Paul.
Yeah, so tell us about the Grey Duck Theater.
Yeah, so Grey Duck Theater, we opened in May of 2019. That was about a year in coming. So we moved to Rochester in 2018. So we show primarily independent films, sometimes documentaries. We try to do locally made films as much as we can. We actually had a really cool event a couple weeks ago with a local filmmaker showing their film at Grey Duck. And like I said, our focus is not necessarily just on getting people in to see the movie or just selling popcorn. We're trying to have a community space where people can experience this art form, which I believe is a really unique art form, and how it helps us see different perspectives and experience things we wouldn't normally experience, and touch that down in our local community. So again, we try to do at least one Q&A event a month. Obviously with COVID, we had a couple months there where we couldn't do it. As well as we offer memberships so people can continue to come back and continue to learn and grow and talk about the art they've experienced.
And when you talk to people in the community in terms of like things they'd like to see happen here politically,
yeah,
what did you hear from your constituents?
Massive ones is definitely healthcare, both in a specific viewpoint of abortion access. That was definitely the most consistent thing I heard at doors from when we started door knocking till, let's see, today's Thursday after the election, so Monday, or actually Tuesday when we door knocked. We heard that all the time. But even more broadly, I think a bigger question there is having access to healthcare and having it be easy and something that everyone has access to. I mean, just before we did this interview, we had like an hour-long discussion of our current healthcare plan here at the Capitol. And people know what that's like, going through HR and all that stuff. We need to simplify that. I believe healthcare is a human right and need to be accessible to everyone. So really excited to work on that. And then, of course, the economy is a huge deal. And from my perspective, both as a small business owner and as a progressive, is that we need to make this state an amazing place to work. Whatever your chosen profession is, whether you're a plumber, electrician, small business owner, teacher, Minnesota needs to be an amazing place to be. Part of that is healthcare, part of that is, as I said, abortion access, part of it is childcare, part of it is wages. And so we have a lot to do there, but that's our duty to the people of Minnesota.
And just finally, I took this from your campaign page, the slogan, courage to listen, courage to act.
Yeah.
What do these words mean to you, and how will that kind of factor into your approach here as an incoming lawmaker?
Yeah, so that came from sort of my lifetime of listening to a lot of different people who aren't like me that caused me to change, and I think for the better. I come from I'm a DFLer, so and a progressive, as I said, but I come from a very conservative background. Both of my parents are Trump voters, or were Trump voters. My whole family is a little bit more on the right side of the aisle, but I also have obviously a whole bunch of friends on the other side of the aisle as well. And so I think it's important that we continue to listen to people, to their experience, not be set in our own experience, but to see how people experience the world. And then the second part of that is we can't just say we're listening if we don't act on that. If I order something and the waiter listens to me but doesn't put in the order, and I don't get food, that's not really helpful. And so we need to have both of those components. And I think that's hopefully something I can bring to the table, listening to both sides on an issue, but also having the courage to act where I think it is right and true based on that listening. So that's really why we came up with that. And that one actually really did resonate on the doors as well, which was really, really great.